Thank you guys for coming. It's always cool seeing people in the real. Like, I don't know if people are either 5'8" or gonna be massive. Ben, I thought was like gonna be my size, but turns out he's a fucking unit. Yeah, it's really good to catch you all over here. Right now, I want to do a quick temp check first of all. So, who here feels like they're missing that big testimonial that will position them as a huge authority? Like nods, hand raises, yeah. Cool. And who here feels sometimes that DMs just absolutely suck? Like you gotta convince people that you are that guy or that girl. Anybody? Perfect. Okay, it's gonna be very useful. So, my premise, and actually before that, is that most people feel like they need to have a huge breakthrough testimonial to feel like they're the authority or like the domain expert. So my premise is that you actually have an ocean of unused proof that you're sitting on right now, and the only thing that's stopping you from being able to be positioned as a complete authority is to know how to identify, collect, and distribute it across your social ecosystem. And basically, I want to go ahead and talk about today something called the proof of results framework, which is something that has helped me do all of these three things. So the promise here is for you guys to be able to position yourselves as the complete authority in your niches and get more sales, or at least make sales easier in your funnels. So it'll be relevant to you if you're just getting started and if you're also in the stages where you got some traffic for your businesses. Cool? Sweet. So I want to talk to you about my rags to riches story. I thought it'd be better than lecturing you guys on exactly how to do these things. So when I first started marketing my business in March, for context, I was doing done-for-you stuff. I had an agency, and I was getting my leads mostly through referral or through direct outbound. So I was doing no marketing via my Instagram or a personal brand. In the beginning when I started, it was an absolute shit show. As you can see, I was very unhappy. I was getting ghosted, rejected, and people were just, it felt like an uphill battle getting people onto calls, and getting people on calls to work with me felt like a whole other uphill battle. So it basically sucked. And I was in the infamous valley of death over here. And I'm not sure if anybody has ever been in the valley of death where just nothing works. Cool. It's not very fun. And yeah, it sucks. And I knew that for the sake of the business, but also my mental health, I needed to change something. So what I did was I got obsessed with looking at the top guys in the space. So Hormozy, Morgan, basically guys where I was their ICP. And I wanted to think about why I thought that if I worked with them, I would be convinced, or I was convinced that I would get results. So I wanted to know how I could replicate the effect that they had on me with my ICP, right? And basically what I did was I created something called the proof of results framework. And once I implemented it, it was a very weird feeling because all of a sudden, my DMs went from, Matt, who the fuck are you? What are you doing? What are you trying to sell me? All the way to, you seem like that guy who's gotten these results. I want to work with you. How much does it cost? And then we'd hop on a call to discuss the actual logistics of it. And the very weird thing over here was that my offer didn't change. The value of my offer didn't change. The only thing that changed was people's perception of me. That's the only thing. So I wanted to basically take all this, systemize it, and show you exactly how you can do the same for yourself using this sexy quadrant over here. So before we do that, any questions? No? Cool. So you want to view the authority of your brand through this quadrant. So on the bottom axis, you got proof quantity, and on the x-axis, I hope I'm not messing this up, is proof quality. So where you don't want to be is in a danger zone, which is where you have a low quantity of low quality proof. Where you want to be is in the Goldilocks zone over here, basically on the top right, which is where the Hormozis are, Charlie Morgan. They have undeniable proof that they are that guy that can solve X problem.
What would you say high quality proof is?
So high quality proof, if let's say, for example, your promise for your clients was like Bobby, for example, like I'll help you pass the SQE, it would be somebody who's passed the SQE with amazing grades and he's now become a lawyer. Or for example, the end result for your clients is, 100K per month business, it is having a client that got a 100K per month business. Like the picture perfect testimonial and case study. Cool, all clear? Amazing. And a lot of us, because we can't access the Goldilocks zone, because we feel like we're missing a lot of authority, we feel like we can't build enough trust with our leads, right? And maybe some of us may be over here in the hidden gem where they may have a low quality of high quality proof. A lot of us are in what we call the mid-level, right? Mid-level is flat, kind of sucks. You don't draw much attention. But what I'm trying to argue here is that you can still build insane authority without being in the Goldilocks zone, because we can go ahead and access this area over here, which is slightly above the mid-level and overlaps with the Goldilocks zone. Because this level, essentially, if you can get a high quantity of just good proof, you can get a similar effect to what the big guys have in the Goldilocks zone. Because like the main thing to take away is that a high quantity of proof is a quality unto itself. So for example, someone hops on your page and they see proof on your bio, they see proof in your hooks, they see proof in your story highlights, they see proof in your DMs. Everywhere they go, they just have proof rammed down their throats. They know that you're that guy. Then you have authority and you can build authority. So, okay, no page. But basically, in order to create this authority, there's 3 ways, right? And before I get into that, any questions? No, cool. So what I systemize all of this, and I ask myself, how can I give a client who's at the 0 to 1 stage, who doesn't have that big breakthrough testimonial, to get access to this stage over here? And I broke this down into 3 steps. So the first part, mind my handwriting over here, is collection. And then the second part is, the first part is identification. The second part is collection. And the third part is distribution. So if you guys look at your businesses right now, what are the touch points that you have of your leads, your clients, where you can generate proof? Any thoughts?
WhatsApp, is that what you mean?
Yeah, WhatsApp is one. Yeah. DMs. Any others?
One-to-ones.
One-to-ones. Group calls. Wins channel. Accountability channel. Demo calls, strategy calls. In your brands right now, you guys probably have tons of different touch points where you're giving a positive experience to one of your leads or your clients. And what you want to do first is identify all of them, because once you identified all of them, what you can go ahead and do is prompt and engineer positive experiences and then build a bridge to creating proof by collecting them. So what are the ways right now that you guys collect proof from your clients? Anybody? Screenshots. Yep, anything else? Testimonials. Interviews, cool, amazing. So my argument is that you have so many different ways to collect testimonials outside of the traditional method of finding them. So one thing that I used to do is I used to hop on demo calls, and if I knew the person was not qualified, but they were really bought into me, I would just coach them for around 20 minutes, and at the end of it, collect a testimonial and send over a link called Senya, which basically allows somebody to click a link, it opens up their camera, and they can go ahead and film a video testimonial. So it was really, really powerful. And then I would also prompt it out my strategy calls if I matched it, to give value to them. And I would collect all those bits of proof, and then afterwards, I would just distribute it across my entire surface area of my brand. So for example, you can have your company page, you can have your hooks, your story highlights, all of these places where your brand has surface area, and you can just populate your proof on that surface area. So whenever somebody new hops on, they have undeniable proof that you are that guy.
So I'm thinking with, like, for example, demo calls or closing calls or like any of the sales calls I have, from what you said, could I just, in those calls, I'm sometimes doing a bit of value, but also just like they're telling me all the pain points. Would you just say, let's clip that up, or like put it on Instagram, put it on, maybe mostly Instagram, and then just use that A as extra content, but B to like showcase that I am someone who A deals with clients, so giving that, Jamin helps people, but also B showing that I know my stuff as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like sometimes on a demo, if I know the person's not going to be qualified, but I know I'm going to get a good clip out of it, I'll coach them and I'll solve a bottleneck. And then I'll collect a testimonial using a copy and paste message from my Instagram DMs to have them film a video testimonial. And in the beginning, I did a ton of that, and I was able to pop a bunch of them on my company page and on my stories. And that allowed me to access this area of a high quantity of just good proof. It's not the Goldilocks, one all be all, but it is a positive result or a positive small end result that I gave to somebody. Yeah. Cool. And that's basically it, guys. I just wanted to quickly go ahead and show you that right now you're sitting on an ocean of unused proof. You have so many touch points where you're giving many positive experiences, many end results to either a lead or a client, and you just need to go ahead and collect it, right? Has anybody ever felt before where they had a big breakthrough with a client or a lead, and they wanted to ask for a testimonial, but one day turned into 2, which turned into 3, and then the positive experience fizzled out and nothing happened? Yeah, you just need to collect more, right? At the end of the demos, if you break a bottleneck, send over a copy and paste message. One thing on demos is that you can also turn them into success interviews if you solve a bottleneck on them and they're not going to turn into clients. Like that, you can get 2 birds, 1 stone. So you're leveraging the entire surface area, all the real estate of your brand and your touch points and your funnels, and distributing them so that you can build a high quality of good proof to position yourself as an authority. Cool.
I don't know if you can help me with this, but my issue is not that I don't have proof, but more that people are still in a 9-to-5 job and they don't want something to be shown with them video publicly.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. It's a good question. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a format where I saw somebody would have a big breakthrough with their client. And instead of hopping on an interview, they would just call them and record their reaction to their win. There's no name, there's no face, but you get a real call from a real person of a real result that you provided.
Sorry.
Just ring the call. Yeah, there's one video.
It's a great clip.
Yeah. There's one video I saw recently where this guy was he called all his clients. He was like, name one thing you hate about me, name one thing you love about me, and tell me about how much money you're making right now.
Yeah.
And that's so easy to engineer. You just send one of your clients a message hey, can I call you for a video? And you get a good success interview. You get a good bit of proof that you can pepper on to hit this level.
The video would just be me on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Bali.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
I was wondering how you sort of manage it, because my camera roll is just filled with screenshots, and like you said, one day it becomes 2, and then I'm doing the most recent win, but there's wins from last week I haven't shared. So do you have a place you collect them, a system for keeping the admin clean?
So I use a software called Senya.io, and Senya is basically you can create a video testimonial collection link. So usually if you have a positive result or a good result on a call, you'll send over a message, hey, can you do this? There's a lot of steps involved, there's a lot of friction, and people just don't do it. But here it sends a link, they click the link, it just opens up their camera roll, and they can film with a prompted message. And then that goes into the software, and I also have all my testimonials on my Canva and on my frame. Yeah, and my screenshots in my folders. Josh.
Similar sort of question really, but how do you best distribute that? How do you best present that?
So Yeah, so it's true. Like if you collect a ton of testimonials and just sit around in your folders, like they don't do any work, right? But what I love is to view your personal brand or your ecosystem as real estate that has tons of surface area. And you'll find that there are so many ways that you can slot proof inside that surface area to create that authority feel. So for example, like the visuals you have on your profile, your bio, your story highlights. I love creating individual case studies for one story highlight, so they see the end result as a story highlight, and there's like 5 of them. And then you have the hooks of your content, you have your story sequences, you have your company page, you have a VSL. And there's so many areas where you can go ahead and pepper proof. Even in the DM messages that you send, how can you slot in ultimately what happens when I help my clients in a message to give more authority, that you can add in to create that authority feel. Yeah. So the goal is just to have, like if you're missing this, the goal is just to have a ton of this and just spreading it around everywhere. Because I don't know if you've ever been on like a big page with a ton of testimonials. Do you even look at all of them individually? No. But when you see a ton, you get that effect of, oh wow, there's a lot here. This guy's about it. You haven't seen the testimonials. This is trying to get the same effect. Yeah. Cool.
How do you spell that Senya?
SENJA.io. Yeah. Cool.
Do you have it as just like lots of story highlights? Or do you reckon
Yeah.
also thrown out on the feed as well?
Yeah, for sure. So is your end result for your ICP more money?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like one thing you could do is whenever people hop on your profile, there's a story highlight of client 1, X amount, client 2, X amount, client 3, X amount. And people won't see it, but they will see individual highlights of end results you've given to case studies. Because you're getting that quantity
like a highlight
effect.
per client?
Per client, yes. Yeah.
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 Like for the Free Thinkers Club business page, we have like separate carousels for everyone. It's just like Morgan's face, 56K, like so-and-so, just like someone's face, and then like carousel of what they've done. And it's just a really good way to distribute person, cash, or even in your case, if you can't use the person, it's just client X, whatever. Again, the more people see it, the more they're like, shit, Dean can help me.
Yeah. Like imagine they hop on the page, they see Dean, Asley, Morgan, just all these names. They don't necessarily go through the carousels, but they're just like hits with high quantity of, and in this case, really, really good proof. So Saul's hitting the Goldilocks zone here.
Question, sorry, just a follow-up question on that. How have you guys found it? Because I have the same thing where I have my own page and then a coaching page of like client wins. Do you think it's worth splitting them up like that?
I do that.
Yeah.
Saul used to do that. So what I'm trying to go for with my company page is I want to go for something called the infinite scroll. So when I have screenshots, when I have, success interviews, I clip it up, I populate the company page. So when somebody hops on, they just scroll down, it's result. They're not going to view all of them. They may not even view any of them, but they will see a scroll of high quantity, good proof.
I can add very quickly to that. I cannot believe the amount of people that, like, by the way, I used to have this page with rebuild it, got deleted, my Instagram mass deletion of all my accounts, and 900 people a month clicked from the testimonial page to the testimonial YouTube channel. 900 people. So you think about how much traffic that is driving to my testimonial YouTube channel. It's just part of the funnel, and it works really well because you want someone to get lost in a basic doom scroll with like all of your results, and then you're like, oh, I like this page, I'm going to click on their company page. Oh, now I've seen 6 results, I'm going to click on the YouTube channel. And you see, remember the number above the head?
Yeah.
All of a sudden it added another hour to you.
Got you.
And it's all bottom of funnel content. So yeah, I think it's a must.
We also tracked it back from everyone that bought from us and found that 85% of people that bought from us followed that account, which had 800 followers or something like that. So if people are serious in your funnel, they're going to go and search for proof and evidence, and if everything's there, like gold mine, then they're just going to sit in it and warm themselves up.
And you reckon it's worth having 2 YouTubes? Yeah.
Because that YouTube's not optimized for views, so you just don't want to mess up your other YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like a landing page, isn't it? I just use that YouTube as storage page. So we have one YouTube, which is YouTube, one YouTube, which is testimonial YouTube, and testimonial YouTube is just like 35 videos, all with 20-minute interviews with clients. The other YouTube is obviously a lead generation tool.
Why is a testimonial? Isn't that a lead generation tool?
Because the algorithm, they get 20 views each, so it is lead generation in terms of like it's bottom of funnel. It's more of a convince trust tool than it is someone is going to be scrolling on YouTube and find my video because it's not optimized for clicks.
Solid. Nice. Yeah, one thing I did as well recently is I gave all my testimonials to my editor. I was like, make something cool with this. And she just put everything together with nice captions with all my clients saying Matthias, 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 Matthias. And then them talking about like how much money they made. And now it's getting blown on the algorithm on Meta. Yeah. So again, just how can I maximize quantity, 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 quantity to compensate for like high quality. Yeah. Cool. Any questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna pass this on to Joe.
You mentioned that you're in like the valley of death for a period, and then obviously you turned it around. Did you do anything outside of this proof project to change that, or what shifted?
Honestly, when I hit this level, my content was still kind of shit. So it was really about the proof. If I could do it all over again, I would just maximize for getting more of this earlier. Because even if you had like a black screen, like actual speed, like no profile picture or barely any posts, but you had, I don't know, 200 testimonials, you will still get demand. So I think this really drives everything, and the rest just props it up.
So I think if I was to apply it to my situation to get the value that I'm looking for, I don't have an offer necessarily right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't have any testimonials. Is it speaking to people, like you say, if they're unqualified, giving value and getting that testimonial? How do you feel like you start turning that wheel of actually generating the proof? So
your big case study would be to get one of the big teams to shout you out, right? But if you go a rung lower at that, you got a bunch of people who are doing sports, a bunch of people who do gels, who run ultras, marathons, and you can give them a ton of free stuff and just ask for a bit of feedback. Do street interviews, ask it live. There's so many ways, like for example, these talks are amazing ways to get proof, because if I went ahead and I interviewed you all, if I gave you my Senya link, I'd garner that a few of you would give like a video testimonial, because it's accessible. And there's just many different ways you can generate proof, right? Yeah, outside of just getting that big win. Just start thinking like that, and you'll be able to find different ways to screenshot, different ways to prompt, different ways to build a collection method, so a bridge from the positive experience to the actual proof, and then distributing it. Yeah, just think quantity. Cool. Did that help?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Cool. Joe.
Awesome.
Go for it.
Right, I want to hop on to almost back at the story which I was talking about before, right? Where someone knows we exist, they like us to the point where they resonate with us, and then we want to get them to the point where they trust us to buy from us, right? So here is James. James is our ICP. Let me pick on Basit. Can you give me 2 or 3 things about your James, like your ICP?
So he wants to be able to train whatever he wants without having a job. He wants to not be 9 to 5. He wants to be able to compete internationally without needing a sponsorship or relying on corporate salary.
Perfect, right? So this is James, and this is what James wants. For James to then to be able to buy from you, what would you say James needs to know from like a business perspective? Like, you've not mentioned anything about sales there.
Yeah.
You've mentioned things about James knowing who you are and him liking you.
Yeah.
What would you say is the next thing for him to then trust you?
He needs to know that I've been an athlete, worked with athletes, and I know how to get an athlete, train an athlete and get them into a sales job.
Okay. So he needs to look at you and go, this guy can help me do what I want to do. You are, you become the go-to.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is what I want to go through, and I want to talk about it in terms of James, so we can think about our ICP, right? So they've seen the results as what Matthias has been through. We're putting loads of stuff on our story. The next step is to become that go-to. And it's the main thing I want to talk about here is showing instead of telling. Anybody can pick up a camera right now and go, I can get you to 100K a month, I can get you to 20K a month. Why do you trust Sol instead of just like any gym from the street doing it? It's this idea that an expert they're good at what they do, but we need to be able to show other people, right? So a great story of this, I've got a friend who he's done I think he's done 22 grand in a month on sales. Great salesman, he's a closer. His content is shit. Like no one listens to it. It's just him talking about like, I'm really good at sales. Like he's just listing sales techniques, something that anyone can do. Like half his videos are carbon copies of Alex Hormozy. And I didn't actually think he was any good at sales. Like I had no idea until I met him and I saw him on a phone call. I saw him on a sales call and he was handling objections like anything. Like I saw that he was great and he got like a 12K pay in front of us in 10 minutes, right? So I went from, I'd seen him, he was telling us in his content that he was good at sales, but I had no idea until he showed me, until I saw it. How can we do this in our brands where instead of telling people all the time, we show them the thing, right? What's the difference between me and Hormozy? Like, who's better, me or him? Like, I can watch one of his YouTube videos and I can spit that out word for word. I can pay for a production team and I can literally make the exact same video. Morgan, what's a reason why you would trust him instead of me?
Audience, time in the game, like scale, people he's helped.
Time in the game. So you've seen his scale, you've seen the people he's helped, and you've seen the fact he's had that time in the game. That's the type of things we need to be thinking about and showing people those things, right? So the reason you trust him is because you've seen that. So I think keeping in mind, show instead of tell when it comes to this. A really good example of this is Sol. Sol can get up and he can say in a short form video like, I scale people to whatever. But instead, if you put a YouTube video up there of Sol actively working with one of our clients, Paddy now, to build his offer, what do you trust more? Him saying like, what I would do to help you build your offer is this, or you seeing him with Paddy? Like that's gonna build more trust. So how can you apply that filter of showing instead of telling? Do you have a question there?
I was going to say the things that Morgan mentioned were pre-existing things that they'd see. It's not that video that you're talking about. So if you get the same production and all the same things, and you do the exact same videos for Mosey, all the things that Morgan said were things that you'd seen before that video.
Yeah.
So how would you do it in that video? So,
if I can get you to hold that thought for 2 minutes, because I'm going to answer that question in a second, right? So our next point here, right, is often people have this like mental objection when they see you. At the end of the day, right, if a video pops up on your feed saying I'm gonna make you 100 grand, or I'm gonna give you whatever transformation, I'm gonna make you feel great in your body, if we want to talk about fitness, there's a mental objection straight away, which is can he do it? Or can she do it? Can they do it? Right? That objection comes up, and we need to solve that objection as quick as possible. If Hormozy stands up and say, I can help you scale, you trust him. If I stand up or someone else stand up, why is there a thought in your head? Can he do it? And we need to solve that. And the easiest way to solve that is to ask yourself the question, look at James, think about James. And when he's saying, I'll believe it when I see it, what does he want to see? It's asking yourself that question, what does James, my ICP, want to see? If you put yourself in their body, maybe it's the past version of yourself, what does that person want to see to be able to trust you can get those results? For example, Annabelle, I'm going to pick on you. What would you think one of your clients would want to see before they invest in you?